We all come from simple beginnings, times where we needed absolutely nothing in order to make us happy. As we grew older, more entertainment, information, noise, and material goods got flung at us at a rate faster than ever been able to fathom before. There comes a point where you just have too much. You spend too much, consume too much information, too much content, engage with too much, and just hear too much on a daily basis. Feeling this intense pressure of never-ending demand on our attention and always in the pursuit of more, whether that be material, informational, or otherwise, this has led me down a path of simplification of my life. And today I wanted to share 5 simplifying hacks with you that'll help you live a little bit more like a minimalist and ultimately become happier as a result. The first way you can very easily simplify your life is to get rid of what I like to call just-in-case items. As I've moved almost every single year in the past 7 years, becoming somewhat of a minimalist in terms of what I own. This is mainly because when I clean up a space, when I'm moving, I have to go through everything to pack it up, and so I end up getting rid of about 80% of everything that I was collecting simply because I just haven't used it in a long time. A great question you can ask yourself, and what I do as well, is are you keeping that certain thing for an just-in-case moment? And if that's the case, just get rid of it. In conjunction with our last video on consumerism, of course, I definitely don't want you to just throw this away. See if you can recycle it at the very least, and see if you can donate it to a local charity or a local thrift store, because these places definitely and readily will take your stuff and sell it again or give it to people in need. Some very interesting things that I came across that I was hanging on to is things like a scented candle I'd never even lit and had owned for about 3 years, a variety of books that I was never going to read, and even things like an unused bedsheet that I'd never even used, but it was just in case one bedsheet was in the laundry when I needed another one. Or potentially maybe I ripped that bedsheet, but then I could just order another one. I didn't know why I was keeping an extra bedsheet on the side. With this idea of getting rid of just-in-case items, another great thing to look at is called the 20-20 rule, and this is simply if it costs $20 or less, and it will take you 20 minutes or less to either order it or go get it from a store, just get rid of it, because in the rare event, should I say, that you need this thing or a replacement item, you can easily order it for as little as $20 and get it in as little as 20 minutes, and then it's a great reason to just pass that thing along and decrease the clutter you have. The next thing I wanted to talk about is to just stop looking for deals. And I know I'm personally very guilty of this, but as a frugal individual, you're constantly looking for coupons, good deals, or even just sales that you can hop on and take advantage of. But sometimes this can lead you down a route of consuming too much and defying the principle of simple. Something I like to constantly remind myself of when I see events like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, or in Canada here, Boxing Day after Christmas. There are these events where you have crazy good deals on a lot of different items that you can buy, but then I just remind myself, just because it's a good deal does not mean I have to buy it. Of course, if something's a good deal and I need it, or it's good to stock up on something, say like paper towels or something that I needed anyways, this is a great opportunity to do that. But buying things that you didn't really need in the first place just for the sake of buying it because it's cheaper than it normally is completely defeats the purpose. Oftentimes I find myself when I'm bored, I end up on Facebook Marketplace or Amazon and just browsing for deals just because it's fun and I like the feeling of finding a good deal. And sometimes I even end up buying these things although I don't need them. And this really makes me feel like I'm not doing my best at saving. And obviously it's not the right thing to do, because you aren't saving money and are spending just to spend, although you don't actually need those things. So although I found a great deal, I didn't actually do myself any favors, because I ended up not really saving money at all because I spent that money when I really didn't need to. Instead, what I've turned to make my life a little bit more simple is when I need or want something, I compile a list of between 5 and 10 things, and only then when I have that complete list do I go through and buy those things or see if I can find better deals all at once. So I have an objective when I'm shopping and not just aimlessly looking for deals. I do also use the age-old hack of, if I really want something, to wait a few days and leave it in my cart and then see if I still want it in a couple days after that, because that's a good indication that I truly would value that thing. And of course, if I need something, I compile that list and buy it because I need it. Another thing I found to help pretty well with this, and kind of not as effective because you're still giving into the feeling of getting deals, but that is to ask friends or family if they are looking for something in particular that I could potentially find a deal for. And if they do, I will shop for them and find a good deal for them so that I'm personally not spending the money, but I'm still helping somebody find a better deal than they otherwise would. The third thing that has really helped me to simplify my life, and is not really linked to consumption, although it does help me save money, is to make a dinner at least 2 or 3 times a week that also provides me with lunch for the next day, essentially making enough dinner for 2 meals. This works in 3 different ways. It helps me to save money, it helps me to save time the next day when I want to typically be making lunch, but I already have that lunch, and overall it also makes me healthier because I'm not going out and buying these processed foods or something easy to pop in the microwave, and instead I just have this healthy meal that I've already cooked. This all started when I started working and didn't make nearly enough to be buying lunch every day, and I was in the office 5 days a week, so I needed a lunch solution that would just work 5 days a week. So what I used to do is just come home from work, and then I would make dinner and make enough dinner, make a healthy meal, so that I would also have lunch for the next day. And this would continue cyclically throughout the entire work week, and then on the weekends I'd be a bit more relaxed. But overall, this saved me so much money. And doing the math, it cost me about $5.80 per meal for a lunch meal. So instead of spending $15 to $20, I was spending $5.90 by doing it at home, and this saved me $300 to $400 per month by just doing this simple hack. And although this might sound easy in practice, making food is by no means easy, and there is a lot of things you have to consider. You have to make sure you have enough groceries, you have the time to make the food, and also you need to be good at cooking, because if you're not, well, you're not going to get very far and burn everything and not have anything to eat at all. So what I would recommend is looking at recipes. I personally really love Pickup Limes, which she's a YouTuber, but she also has a great recipe website where she has very easy, even under 10-minute meals that you can make, and that are very budget friendly as well. So this is definitely something I utilize, and I use a lot of her recipes. Not an affiliate, by the way, but she is just great at recipes and makes delicious food, so go check her out if you want to. The fourth hack for a simpler life is something that was super game-changing to me, and is only something I've started to do more recently. And this is something that a friend showed to me, and it's called an on-the-go daily budget tracker. Quite a mouthful, but essentially what it is a daily budget. So what you do is plug in your expected monthly income based on your paychecks or your self-employment income, whatever you might do as a living. You plug that in, then you have a column that lists all of your fixed expenses and subtracts them from that monthly income. And this includes literally everything except miscellaneous spending, including investments, debt payments, and then the remainder is calculated from that, divided into 30 or 31 or 28 or 29 if it's February days. That is then divided into a daily budget, and this amount accrues every single day you don't buy something. So say if the daily budget ends up being $15, if you don't spend anything on day 1, the second day your budget will be $30, and it'll show that in green. And as soon as you buy something, say if you had $30 as your balance and you bought a dinner for $45, for example, you would see -15 in red, and the next day it would become 0. This is super simple because I just have it on my Google Sheets on my phone, and every time I buy something that is not a fixed expense, I make sure to record it in there, put a quick description of what it is, and it also speeds up my full budget at the end of the month as well, because I'm recording things as I go along. And much like habit tracking that we've talked about before, this budget tracker helps me to spend less, because I don't want to break this streak of building up this balance in the daily budget and then breaking that. So I'm much less likely to spend every single day, and I'm more cognizant of what I am spending. And finally, the last way to simplify your life is to reduce your time commitments. I know this isn't something that's often touched on when we talk about simplifying your life. You think about physical things, but time is also a very big factor in simplifying your life. And if you're anything like me, you love helping other people out, you love saying yes to things and being very helpful and doing everything that you can to please everybody else, but this isn't always in your best interest. Often I'm left feeling like it's kind of a burden on my life that I shouldn't really have said yes, because I want to complete the things that I want to complete, but instead I said yes to these other commitments that I can no longer really have time to work on the things that I need to work on to become a better person. So then in order to simplify your life, I would recommend you say no a bit more often. As cliche as that sounds, even something as simple as being invited to a party or a get-together or a networking event, simply tell the person that's asking you that you have to check your calendar and get back to them. At the very least, this will give you a bit of time to think it over and maybe even actually check your calendar to make sure that it would work out with whatever your schedule is and what you want to get done, family time, relationship time, whatever you have going on, so that it fits within your schedule. Simplifying your life isn't really just about having less things and becoming a minimalist. It's also about focusing on what's most important to you. Your passions, your job, your hobbies, your relationships, and your friends. The key with simplification is to cut out all of the things we don't need and don't add value to our lives to live our best lives. It's definitely not about what you have in terms of material goods. It's about what time you have to do the things you want to do and to spend the time with the people you want to spend time with most. And that's what simplifying your life is all about, and I really hope this video helped you see that. If you want to check out a little bit more about this, I want to learn more about consumerism and all the negative things associated with it, I've got a video right here that'll really help you out, and I will see you next time.